Hello, podcasters and YouTubers. I'm super excited to be here with you today. This is going to be a short one, right? I wanted to focus today on just taking you through some of the recommendations I have if you're considering starting your own business. In this one, you're going to see, hopefully if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see a screen that's going to say, a little simple Canva, 5 steps I think are important when you're looking to start a business. So I'm by far not going to say I'm fully an expert here, but these are the steps that I took to successfully sort of start my consulting firm. And I follow the very same steps kind of for my real estate venture. And we'll kind of talk through. But in some of my previous videos, we did a few things already as it relates to just business ownership and being an entrepreneur. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about my real estate sector. I'm going to show you some of my, homes that I've kind of purchased and renovated, and now I'm renting out. I'm going to tell you all the interesting stories I've heard so far, and then kind of a little bit more about what I'm doing with my investment properties over time and what my plans are. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about business ownership. So I did a video on what are some of those areas that if you have these skills, you could start a business today. So we went on to Upwork and looked at the skills from about 4 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and what those were. And then we also looked at some of the most sought after skills today, right? So those were the things that we spent a lot of time looking at in some of our previous podcasting and YouTube sessions together. But today I want to take you through the steps you should take when you're starting a business. And I want to start by saying, do this while you have a full-time job if you do have a full-time job. And if you don't have a full-time job and you're still figuring out what you want to own a business in, get a full-time job, learn skills while you're being paid. And that way you can translate those to a business that you can kind of operate and run that have exponential growth potential. There are no ceilings when you're a business owner as it relates to income. The only ceilings that can be put in place are the ones that you put on yourself, right? You are the one who decides what those ceilings are and what your comfort level is and how far you want to go. So we'll start there. But kind of kick us off. So 5 things I think you have to do if you're going to, start a business. And the very first thing for me is have a business website. I know it sounds completely simple. Maybe everyone does it, but I kind of venture to say they don't. And so I would encourage you to have a business website if you don't already. It's just going to be one of those things that people will automatically go out and look for as it relates to kind of you generating your credibility and reputation. People are looking for your website. They want to see you have a presence online. And you'll see a little bit more about that when I get to the 5th recommendation. And these are in no order in particular, but maybe they are. I think they are core things you have to do, and maybe there's an order to them. I think website's probably one of the most important, or one of the first things that you should do. The next one's business email. So whenever you set up a website, generally that comes with the domain, which will allow you to set up an email address automatically. But being a small business owner myself, I don't generally hire anyone who doesn't have a website associated with their business. If you have a Gmail account or a Yahoo or a Hotmail, I'm automatically probably going to just not consider you for a job potentially. Now, if I'm hiring you as a freelancer to do an ad hoc activity, that's completely different. But if I'm hiring you as a person who's going to do a specific technical or website design thing for me, and I expect you to have a website, especially if I'm looking for you online or you reach out to me directly, generally you're just off the list if you don't have an email address and a business website. And it's different if you're hiring off platforms like Upwork, which I've talked to you about. It's not a necessity, but if you're going out there and you're going to go talk to, maybe a franchisee who owns 10 McDonald's restaurants, they're going to want to see you have an actual business email address associated with your business, because that to them means you're serious about what you're doing. I'd say the next thing that's super important to focus on after you build your website, have your email address, is SEO. So that's all around how you can optimize search engine optimization. How can you optimize and improve your performance on Google and Bing? And so I'd say the more you can spend time in that area, really making sure you've got keywords associated with the search criteria you expect your folks to go out there and use, the better off you're going to be, right? So that may sound simple, but I kind of want to just reiterate that. Make sure you've got at least, I'd say 3 to 5 pages. If you have a single page, make sure it's a scroll page and it has plenty of content meaningful, helpful content for your users or people that will come out there to view your website, but then also make sure it has keywords all throughout it that people can use to find your website through Google. My main website or business that I run, Power BI Consulting Services, if someone goes out and they're looking for that service type, I'm one of the top sites to show up for various reasons, one being my URL, but then also the fact that I've got tons of keyword and SEO sort of optimization on my site to help folks get to my page if they're looking for services that my team offers. And so I'd say if you don't know much about that, hire someone. You can get someone pretty inexpensive online to help you with this type of work. But I would strongly encourage you do some SEO on the website that you develop. On the website front, the other thing that I would recommend, and this is just my thought, definitely not something that you have to do, but I would say it's definitely something that I would consider, is do it on WordPress. Wix and GoDaddy and all of these other website design services allow for you to, just build a website. But what I would say is that if you can, use WordPress. And you may wonder, well, why, Nicole? What's the benefit? Well, there's a lot of flexibility associated with it when it comes to adding additional features to your website, whether it's you want folks to submit a form online with certain criteria and drop-down functionality and reCAPTCHA and all these things that are very helpful and beneficial to your business. To do that, I would just encourage WordPress. Adds much more flexibility. I started off on a GoDaddy website design and ended up having to convert it, and it was a large on-taking that took about a year to do. So I'm just giving that feedback up front so that you don't have to spend a year doing it. Instead, you can learn from my mistake of starting on the easier path, but then had to take a large sort of on-taking to migrate the website, validate the website, and get it up and running. And I'll tell you, even today, I still have issues with my website that I'm kind of working through because of that migration. So keep that in mind. The next thing I would encourage you to do is run ads. It's going to be one of the easiest and simplest ways, not the most cost effective, right? And I would start off with a small budget, because if you put your budget at $150, rest assured Bing and Google are going to use every penny of that every single day. So maybe start with $25 a day and test out certain keywords, right? And they're going to give you some analysis on what the cost of each keyword search would be like, so you know the probability that it's actually going to run. But they're really smart too. So if you have a keyword that's super expensive, they're actually going to kind of store up your searches, and then they're going to kind of run them strategically throughout each individual day so as to not exceed sort of that budgetary amount that you've set forth. But I would encourage it. And if you need help doing that, again, Upwork, Fiverr, freelancer.com, there's tons of places you can go out and find someone who can help you with your Google and Bing ads. But I definitely would encourage you to run ads. It's definitely a great way to kind of gain business as well as traffic to your website when organic traffic is going to be sort of on the up and up over time. So definitely do that. And then the final thing I'd say is have a social media presence, whether that's on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Have a presence. If you were going to start on one site, I would say start on LinkedIn. Right? You're a business owner, so why not have a great LinkedIn profile? And there are people who can help you setting that up and making sure it's set up appropriately. But definitely, I would encourage you to do that. YouTube's a great platform too. On my business side, I've not done a great job really over the past few years of keeping that content coming. I'm going to do a lot better now that I'm kind of here and doing this on a structured basis from a podcasting standpoint, talking to you all about this stuff. I plan to spend a lot more time on my YouTube content for my business. But I would say if you've got meaningful content that might help people, put it on YouTube. I do it all the time. I'm a Power BI or business intelligence firm. We do automation and we do application development. And so a lot of my content is teaching people how to use that stuff on their own. And they love that, because then when they go out and they see our YouTube channel with 80 or 90,000 views on it, subscribers and content, they realize, well, not only can they develop, but then they can train us on how to use it as well, which is a very important trait for a lot of folks who are kind of looking to get the type of consulting services that we offer. So just to kind of recap, 5 things that I think are super important that you should do when you start a business: a website, an email address, SEO or search engine optimization, Bing and Google ads running so that you can get not only that organic traffic, but paid advertising traffic as well, and then have a social media presence. Those are the steps that I took, and those are the things that I kind of recommend to ensure that your business can kind of get off on the right footing. If you have any questions, or if you want to learn more, if there's something else that you thought I should have mentioned as one of those jump starting activities, put it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, do it. Just push the button. If you're here after 11 minutes, pushing that button shouldn't be too hard. Push the button. You can do it. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys kind of listening in today. And again, this is Nicole McKinney signing out.